Okay, this is serious, guys. This is a video that we never thought we would ever have to make, and we didn't want to, because here at our Everyday Getaway, we are adamant about focusing on the positive. That's not to say bad things can't happen, and we have shared some of those bad things with you guys before in the past. But in my opinion, for me, as a husband, this was the most serious incident that we've ever happened in our full-time RV travels.
The scariest, I guess.
Yeah, definitely scary for me as a husband.
Oh, Katrina.
For those of you who follow the channel, you know right now we are work camping at Mesa Regal RV Resort in Mesa, Arizona. So we're trying to get our feet under us and get this whole work camping thing figured out. Well, Katrina and I were...
It was our first day off, and it was...
Well, I don't know if it
that's
was
not
our
true.
first day off, but it was a day off.
That's true.
We got video footage of what happened, and we're going to share that with you because having a channel, we believe in sharing almost everything with you guys because we like to emphasize the good, the bad, because this is life. This is full-time RV life.
Right.
And we're going to share that with you. We're going to show you the video footage here in a minute. It could be a little disturbing to some of you.
And
I'll let Katrina explain what happened.
We have video footage because we were just happened to be filming something that we were doing with Tucker, and it just happened to happen while we were filming, and that's why it's on video.
We hope there's something you guys can learn from this because we've learned from this the importance of having proper insurance, proper care, knowing where the best medical facilities are around you, whether you're boondocking or you're work camping or you're camping in general. This is to stress the importance of it. If you guys are familiar with the channel, we did a video about when I had my gallbladder attack out in the middle of, Colorado. And, I'll put a link to the video below. You guys can check that out. This stresses the importance of a few things. Number one, being aware of your area, your surroundings. And number two, understanding and appreciate the importance and the value of life and your loved ones. And enjoying life and staying focused and being positive. So I'll let Katrina explain what happened. And if she's a little off, I'll be sure to help her.
Just a normal day. We went out mid-afternoon. We were going to one of these pet grooming facilities that you can bathe your pet on your own. So we did that. Everything was going fine. Tucker was up in the washing tub, and we were both on either side, and we were washing him. And all of a sudden, I just felt lightheaded. I started feeling like a little warm, and I knew something was happening. I felt like I was going to pass out, and I did. And I just remember feeling that way. And the next thing I know is I'm waking up to Chris right up in my face, which is not a bad thing.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Stop. Saying my name. And I just remember being very confused. But even before that, I will go back and say, I remember feeling very calm and almost like I was dreaming. And I keep on telling Chris, did I have some kind of experience? He's like, no, you couldn't have. But I almost feel like I did. I know I didn't die. It was very strange. And I felt very calm. And I felt like I was dreaming, but I don't remember what I was dreaming. And then I just remember Chris talking to me.
It was a freeze-dried cranberry. No.
Oh, Katrina. Oh my God. Take it easy. I don't know. It's never happened before, Katrina. You want me to call 911? Yes.
Now, for me, when you watch the video, Katrina falls, literally just passes out. I thought she slipped and fell. When I went over to Katrina, and you don't see this on the video, but you see me looking down at her, she was on her right side convulsing. I thought she was having some sort of seizure. She was shaking, and there was a little bit of spit in your mouth.
Thanks for sharing.
And her eyes were wide open. But I was talking to her, holding her hand. I had her. And I will also say that the staff at the grooming place were phenomenal. They were very helpful. We want to thank you guys for being so kind and helpful.
Hi, we're at a place of business and we just had a customer drop down and have a seizure. It looks like they're having a seizure.
And we're talking to her and she's just not connecting, even though her eyes were wide open. So we're trying to figure things out. They decided to call 911. I took Katrina and laid her on her back and kept trying to evaluate things and keeping my calm and my cool. And I'm talking to her the entire time. And the entire time her eyes were just locked wide open. Finally, she looked at me. And I knew she looked at me, even though she wasn't there. She still wasn't there. And then within a few seconds after that, all of a sudden, she was kind of like coming out of it. And she was like, what happened? What's going on?
Oh my God.
It's okay, sweetheart. It's all right.
Okay. Okay.
At that point, we had 911 on the phone. She was coming out of it. We decided to call off 911. Now, that was, I think in hindsight, that was a bad thing. So we managed to get Katrina to lay down for a few minutes, talk to her. She was okay. Got her to sit up.
You did really well.
And as you can see in the video, she actually stood up. And then we had her sit down, gave her some water.
Sure.
Yep.
Thank you guys. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of course.
Just take it easy and you want the water back?
And I think it only lasted, I looked at the video, it was between a minute and a minute and a half. It wasn't terribly long.
Yeah, it was a weird kind of thing, guys, because when you're in that moment, and maybe some of you can understand, even though it was a short moment, it felt like, it just felt like it was forever. We were like, okay, fine, we finished everything up. And I told Katrina when we wrapped up, I said, Katrina, I think I have some of that on video. I think I recorded some of that. So we came back to the RV and we were watching it. And we noticed something. We noticed that you were...
Well, I noticed when I watched it that I was like reliving it, and I looked at my left hand, and my left hand was like clenched up in a fist. So I don't know what that means, or if it doesn't mean anything at all. I'm still like kind of holding on to the dog washing station with my right hand, but I kind of clenched my left fist, and then I just fell to the ground. So luckily I didn't hit my head, but both of my elbows, I must have landed on my elbows because they were very sore and they were swollen. I didn't break anything, but I don't know how I didn't hit my head.
Now, for me, watching her clench her left hand made me think of, and I didn't say this to her, that heart attack symptoms and what have you. And you do have a few heart concerns.
I do. I have actually in the past had to leave Florida to go back to Maryland because my doctors thought that there was something irregular about my heart. My EKG, my regular one, it was just like 2 years ago, they did a nuclear stress test on me and said, came out with flying colors. So no problem. And now this.
So when watching the video, we looked at each other and said, let's go to the emergency room. We went to the emergency room. I did a quick research, went to the emergency room for, I think it was Arizona General. We go down there. They ran a series of tests.
All kinds of stuff. Gamut. They were amazing.
They were fantastic. They did the scan of her head, chest. They did EKG. They did blood work, a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Came back, nothing. So we don't know what caused it.
They did find that I have an aneurysm in my spleen that he says probably going to have to get taken care of and get a stent. And then my right lung at the very bottom has a very small like nodule down there that they showed, and he asked me if I smoked, and I said, well, I did smoke when I was 18 to 21, 17 to 21, but of course, you know, I didn't smoke a lot. I was a light smoker,
And that was
but
many
still.
years ago, yeah.
So, you know, I'm 58, so that's a long time ago. So now I have to go see about those as well.
He did suggest that you follow up with a neurologist and a cardiologist.
And a cardiologist.
So we're trying to work on that here in the area. That's going to be difficult to try to get someone. We're working on this. This is probably 5 days after the incident. This may affect our work camping stay.
It's affected mine so far because I haven't been able to go back to work.
Yeah.
I still feel lightheaded. That happened on a Saturday. That Sunday evening, I woke up to literally on the toilet. I couldn't get off. Sorry to be so graphic, and I was getting like cold sweats, just like cold chills, and then I would get sweats, and then I ended up throwing up that night, and I was for sure I was having signs of a heart attack, and I just laid back in that bed. I was like, no, hold on, I don't have to go yet. I have felt lightheaded and a headache ever since. It's getting better, but I don't have the headache right now. The headache finally went away, but I still feel a little lightheaded. The neurologist and the cardiologist here in town, it's going to be 30 to 60 days before I can get in to see one. If it's going to be that long, I just assume go back home and see my own doctors. And I don't know about you guys, but for our insurance purposes, our insurance will pay. They just don't pay as much of a percentage as if we're back in the Maryland, Virginia, DC area. And we have another insurance through Good Sam's that will pay, but you have to be admitted to the hospital before that'll kick in.
Okay, so let's touch on those things. It's important for you guys, those of you who are full-time RVers, if you don't know, or you're thinking about it, to get your insurance lined up. We bought the Good Sam's insurance thinking that they could cover a wide range of things, correct?
And they can, and they'll do the thing. You know, if you get the top of the line, they'll also cover, like, if Chris were to get in an accident and we need the RV to go back home, they'll take care of all that.
But we didn't realize that you have to be admitted. We took it upon ourselves to go to the emergency room, which goes back to having the ambulance come out and pick you up and take you. Whether or not that's a difference, I think that very well could play into this. There are insurance options for you guys that are available. I'll put a link to some of them down below. I won't get into the details of those. Some of them will actually airlift you to all kinds of places and cover the transportation of your RV from point A to point B. Those are things that are very valuable, and you should consider them if you can. Because prior to us getting on the road, Katrina and I, with the exception of the diagnosis of having cancer, we've been fairly healthy, haven't had a whole lot of issues. But since we've been on the road as full-timers,
Constant.
I've had the gallbladder, Katrina's had her eye issue, now this issue.
Then last year I had the whole itchy, undiagnosed symptoms that was miserable for
When we
months.
got to Canada.
When we were up in Canada and Alaska.
So these are things you need to be aware of. These are things you should take into consideration. A lot of times you hear stories about bad campgrounds, your rig breaking down, bad neighbors. But for us, those things are non-existent. What has really affected us more than anything else has been our health. And I'd like to think I'm in good health because we don't smoke, we don't do drugs, and we're casual drinkers, contrary to popular belief, and we just have a good time. But we're getting to that point now where these things are starting to come up more and more. You need to be aware of them. You need to be educated with them. More so than whether or not you're at a bad campground is whether you're in an area that can take care of you and help you out health-wise. So now we don't know just how much longer we can stay here and continue the work camp, because Katrina hasn't been working all week. And what does that mean? That's money out of our pocket.
Right.
We didn't anticipate this.
And we'll talk about that in another video, not to make this one too long, but that's going to affect us very much so, not just a little bit, like a lot. So if we can, hopefully stick it out this month, but I don't know, it just depends how I feel. If I feel safe enough to go back to work, because I cannot overexert myself and hurt myself. I need to go at some point, get back and see some specialists. So.
But for me, as a husband, fellows, you guys can relate. The incident I had with my gallbladder, if it happens to me, I'm cool. I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
whatever.
But that's not cool for me.
Well, we're men. The men go first, so to speak. Seeing her laying there, suffering and in pain, is a tough thing to deal with. And this was by far, in my opinion, because the women are the binding force of a family, and they come first. And seeing my babe there, contrary to all what you guys may think about our back and forth banter, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me right here. This gal right here, she's everything. And if anything should happen to her, God forbid. Make sure you guys are prepared. Hopefully you guys can learn from this. Be aware. Get your things in order. Don't focus and dwell on the negative. If you got some issues with your family members and whatever, bury them. Get past that and value and appreciate your family and your friends, because that's the great thing that we really love about this RV life is meeting you guys, being with our family and our friends and enjoying this. And we hope to continue on this journey as full-time RVers. This may affect it one way or the other. We'll see what happens. We'll deal with it like we deal with everything else in our lives. Katrina, both of us as parents and a couple, we've been through a lot. We'll handle this, we'll roll with this, but hopefully you guys can learn something from this video. If anything, just appreciate and value life and get out there and enjoy life. If there's something you're thinking about doing and you keep putting it off, don't put it off, guys. Take the time, go enjoy life, because, you know, life is precious. We all know this. And seeing my girl lay down there like that, and there's very little I could do, was very upsetting to me. So
Thank goodness you didn't get that on film. Nobody wants to see me shaking on the ground.
yeah, it was pretty scary.
I'm just kidding.
It was pretty scary.
It,
And I usually can handle those things, being that I've worked in construction and I saw guys get hurt. I have the ability, more so than you, to handle those things.
That's not true. We had the shooter at the store that one time, and I was.
Whatever. We can go. That's
We're
a
going to
story
debate that for another day.
for another day.
Yeah.
She's
I
getting
don't do
over it.
blood. That's true. I don't do blood.
No, she
I
doesn't.
don't do blood.
No. She's getting better. It kind of has affected our plans right here. We have plans to go for hikes. We have plans to go for jeeping, all these things. Now we got to kind of bring it back and take it easy.
Well, I'm still a little nervous on if I'm out of the woods or not. So I don't know if I'm getting better, but I feel better than I did the other day.
And this is, once again, we love to share these things. Well, we think it's important to share these things with you guys, just so you understand that, yes, this is life on the road. It's not all bells and whistles and beaches going.
And this is ginger ale, by the way.
I was going to say,
I love my little
well,
plastic.
her stomach has been upset, so she's been drinking a lot of ginger ale, so helping out. There you have it. That's an update for this week's video. I know this is kind of contrary to what we usually do, because we think about being positive and uplifting, but this is an informational video. Hopefully you guys can learn something from this.
Yeah.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And remember, please guys, please, if you have a dream, if you have a desire, go for it. Don't let anything stand in your way. Don't wait till something bad happens.
It's true.
As we like to say here, any day you can get away,
It's a great day, guys.
you guys take care and God bless.